Matt Garstka's polyrhythmic mastery makes other prog drummers look like they're playing in slow motion. Matt Garstka is the rhythmic architect behind Animals as Leaders, the instrumental prog metal trio that's been pushing the boundaries of technical music since the early 2000s.
I've been a fusion drummer at heart for, since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Since I was a teenager. So, I'm a rock drummer. My dad raised me rock, blues, some reggae in there. But then I became a fusion, jazz fusion, funk Latin head. And then I became a metal head, So like I've had a lot of fun playing, having the ability to play all of that in Animals. Like there's definitely a lot of styles pulled from in Animals. I don't just see it as prog metal,
Yeah.
I don't think any of us in the band just see it as that either. It's our influences are too broad,
While most drummers struggle to keep four limbs coordinated, Garstka treats his kit like a percussion orchestra, executing patterns that seem to defy human limitation. He's not just playing fast, he's rewriting the language of progressive drumming. Where previous generations focused on odd time signatures and complex patterns, Garstka synthesized everything into a new vocabulary. Polyrhythmic layers stacked with mathematical precision, executed at blistering tempos, all while maintaining a groove that somehow makes sense. Even legends like Gavin Harrison approach complexity differently, but we'll get to that comparison later, because it reveals everything about where modern prog drumming is headed. Let's talk about the song that really put Garstka on the map, CAFO. This is the track where his crazy ideas and insane skill all come together. Here's something interesting. The original 2009 album version had programmed drums by Tosin Abasi and producer Misha Mansour. But when Garstka joined the band in 2012, he took those machine-perfect parts and made them his own, turning them into some of the most legendary live drum performances in modern prog metal. The title comes from a real term, concentrated animal feeding operation, basically a giant industrial factory farm. It's a fitting name because the song feels like getting dropped into a rhythmic machine. Right from the first bar, Garstka throws you off balance. This isn't normal 4/4. The opening groove lives in 11/16ths, a time signature so lopsided it feels like the ground is shifting under your feet. That deliberate instability is what makes the riff instantly iconic. It can feel like 2 or 3 time signatures are happening at the same time and still somehow grooves. About a minute in, he flips the feel with a metric modulation. The pulse from the first section becomes the pulse of the new one, so it feels like the tempo jumps even though the band isn't really speeding up. Most drummers make that kind of shift really obvious. Garstka just slides into it. In the breakdowns, he uses linear patterns, one voice at a time, flying around the kit in clean, fast lines built from rudiments. These aren't random fills, they sound like little melodies on the drums. And he does all of this fast. Parts of CAFO sit around 155 beats per minute with steady 16th notes between all 4 limbs. That's over 10 notes a second, but his playing stays clean and controlled. Most drummers are either fast or precise. Garstka is both, and that's why listening feels almost unreal. Now here's where it gets interesting. Gavin Harrison, the prog rock polyrhythmic master behind Porcupine Tree and King Crimson, approaches this completely differently, and the contrast reveals everything about modern progressive drumming.
Like a counterpoint going on. They can hear ding, ding, like a new tempo coming out, kind of creating a 3D effect. But I do like, if I can, I like to smooth out a lot of odd tempos so people can enjoy them. I don't need the audience to know that this song's in 11/8 or 17/16. I don't want people to perceive that we're just being cocky and clever. Hey, look, we can play in 1916. Check this out.
Yeah.
I want it to have some musical reason. Sometimes when we're writing, I say, do we need to have this bar here? Couldn't we just make it 3/4? Has it got to be, 11/16? Mm-hmm. I think it's going to make the whole thing flow. And you can make nice grooves. You don't have to have 2 and 4 to make a groove. And I heard that in the things that you did, and I heard the things that Steve Gadd played. When he played in 7, it sounded as cool as when he played in 4/4.
Yeah.
It had a nice laid-back time going on. You know, I heard a lot of drummers, especially in England, playing odd times. It never felt good.
Yeah.
It was always very jerky, and the only interest in it was, hey, this is an odd time, so check out how clever I am.
Yeah.
And I realized that it doesn't need to be that.
Garstka comes from the metal world where power and speed dominate. His approach is kinetic, explosive, attention-grabbing. Harrison's polyrhythmic genius lives in subtlety. He creates complexity that supports the composition rather than competing with it. His patterns breathe with the music, his dynamics shape emotional arcs, and his technical brilliance often hides beneath accessible grooves. He makes prog drumming feel organic, not mathematical. Both are technical geniuses, but Matt represents the new school of progressive drumming. Where speed meets surgical precision, where the drummer is a solo performer even within the band context, where extreme technicality is the aesthetic. Garstka took the polyrhythmic concepts Harrison refined and said, what if we played this at death metal tempos while maintaining jazz-level limb independence?
I think players do tend to have a preference. They do tend to have like a natural inclination to one or the other.
Yeah.
The more natural players are going to go more towards feel. And they're also going to be put down a path of more of the same patterns that they've like absorbed by sound. And then there's the other players that go by concept, tend to have the ability to break things more, to innovate kind of, because you're consciously seeing all the different pieces and like, okay, I can manipulate this and it's different. Yeah. Like those players tend to have the feeling lack, or like the heart. There's like kind of the brain that's you're kind of setting up a brain versus heart sort of thing. For me, I've always been like a heart-based player from the get-go, but then, over the years, just because I'm so into it, I've gotten way more conceptual. And so for me, concepts are kind of like where I feel like I'm more likely to break some sort of norm or like create some sort of innovation, but I'm always inputting from feel. So you always have to like update your system of what you're thinking to what you also feel, and those things communicate with each other. So honestly, I really enjoy doing both. I'd become more feel-based.
The result is a style that's influenced an entire generation of prog metal drummers. Matt Garstka didn't just master polyrhythms, he turned them into a weapon. Real quick, if you're a drummer and your gear's holding you back, hit up Zounds. They've got pro-level kits, cymbals, and hardware with payment plans that don't wreck your wallet. I've got my Zounds link down in the description. CAFO is the blueprint, the one track that quietly moved the bar for prog metal drumming and dared everyone else to catch up. In 7 minutes, he proved that drums could be both brain-melting and bone-crushing at the same time. Since Garstka took over these parts live in 2012, countless prog metal drummers have tried to tackle the song. Most tap out. A few can hang, but only Garstka plays it like it's no big deal. That's the difference. Great drummers impress you. Legends quietly rewrite the standard and make the impossible look normal. So here's my question. Is Garshka's aggressive, in-your-face complexity the future of prog drumming? Or is there still room for Gavin Harrison's subtle genius? Drop your take below, and if you think someone else belongs in this conversation, tell me who and why.
Smash that subscribe button right now. Don't just sit there. Join the crew, stay locked in, and let's keep the beat alive.